What if everything we thought we knew about Dakota Johnson and Chris Martin's relationship was just a carefully curated illusion? What if, beneath the smiles, the mutual support, and those rare glimpses of PDA, there was a deeper, unspoken tension building for years? And what if the real reason they broke up wasn't the too busy excuse we've all heard, but something far more complex, maybe even personal? Before we dive deep into what's really going on, smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and drop your theories in the comments, because by the end of this video, you may find yourself questioning everything you believed about Dakota and Chris for years. Dakota Johnson and Chris Martin were considered one of Hollywood's most low-key but strongest couples. No tabloid scandals. No performative Instagram posts. Just rare, quiet appearances, like Dakota watching Coldplay perform from backstage, or Chris referencing Dakota in Coldplay's stage visuals. In an industry filled with spectacle, they chose silence. And that silence only amplified the mystery around their breakup. So when news quietly broke that the two had officially split, fans were left stunned, not because celebrity couples don't break up, but because this one seemed different. Intact. Private. Stable. So what really happened? The official narrative that began circulating almost immediately was familiar. Their schedules were just too hectic. Chris was immersed in Coldplay's record-breaking music of the Sphere's World Tour, crisscrossing continents and packing stadiums. Dakota, meanwhile, had just wrapped Madam Web and was reportedly diving headfirst into back-to-back film projects and a new production company. The story seemed to make sense, until it didn't, because here's where things get strange. Despite both having intense careers, Chris and Dakota made it work for 5 years. That includes a pandemic, global lockdowns, and even Chris co-parenting with his ex-wife Gwyneth Paltrow in the background. So why now? Why break up when they've already proven they could survive the chaos of showbiz? Insiders close to the couple started whispering something else, something not as tidy. One source, speaking anonymously to a British outlet, hinted that it wasn't about work at all. They've grown apart emotionally, the source claimed. They were in love, but not aligned anymore. What does that even mean? According to multiple entertainment insiders, Dakota Johnson, who has long been known for her edgy independence and refusal to conform to Hollywood expectations, had been shifting. Not just professionally, but personally. After years of being the mysterious, artsy cool girl next to the spiritually grounded, minimalist Chris Martin, Dakota reportedly began craving something different, more visibility, more control, maybe even more depth in her relationship. Meanwhile, Chris Martin, the ever-zen frontman of Coldplay, was still deeply rooted in his meditative, global citizen mindset. Chris lives for purpose, for stillness, for routine. Dakota? She's been stepping into bigger risks, artistically and emotionally. Could it be that this difference in vision finally created an emotional wall between them? Here's where it gets even more curious. Just weeks before news of their breakup surfaced, Dakota was spotted at multiple high-profile events, alone. No Chris. No subtle acknowledgements. Just Dakota, standing confidently in the spotlight, fully in her element. Some fans even pointed out that her vibe had changed. Gone was the low-key, camera-shy Dakota. In her place stood someone bolder, maybe even freer. At the same time, Chris Martin was still referencing love during Coldplay concerts, but fans noticed he'd stopped including the infamous visuals that once honored Dakota during performances. Coincidence, or quiet confirmation? And then came the rumors. Not from TMZ or Dumois, but from body language experts and fan analysts who dissected every recent appearance. One theory exploded across social media, that someone new may have entered the picture, not necessarily in a scandalous way, but in a way that disrupted the emotional balance. Who? That remains unclear. Some fans pointed to a rising actress that had been spotted backstage at several Coldplay shows. Others noticed a sudden warmth between Dakota and one of her co-stars during an indie film shoot. But here's the catch, no one has been caught. There are no photos. No texts leaked. No secret rendezvous. jest, suspicion, and sometimes, in Hollywood, that's more dangerous than proof. Mid-video teaser. But what if this isn't even about another person? What if the real heartbreak came from within, something Dakota said recently that might explain it all? Stay tuned, because what she revealed in a recent interview may change the way you see their relationship forever. In an interview just before the breakup rumors surfaced, Dakota opened up, briefly but powerfully, about the challenges of being in a relationship where you give more than you receive. She didn't name names, but the timing was chilling. She also admitted to feeling like a supporting character in someone else's story at times, and wanting to rewrite that narrative. Those aren't the words of someone content in a deeply fulfilling relationship. Those are the words of someone tired. Someone done. As for Chris, he hasn't said much. He never does. But at a recent concert in Sao Paulo, during an emotional version of Fix You, fans claim he choked up. Video of the moment went viral, with comments flooded by heartbreak emojis and fans speculating, he's singing this for Dakota, isn't he? Could both of them be grieving the end of something they couldn't save, not because of betrayal, not because of scandal, but because of slow emotional drift? It's also worth noting that Chris Martin has always had a very unique post-breakup energy. When he divorced Gwyneth Paltrow, the term conscious uncoupling entered our vocabulary. He's not a man of messy endings. If this breakup with Dakota was truly final, you can bet it was made with reflection, maturity, and heartbreak. But still, something about this ending feels unfinished. Fans continue to hold out hope, or at least crave more clarity. Because even after 5 years, even with all the red carpets and stadiums and interviews, they never really let us in. And maybe that's the point. Maybe this was always a private story with private reasons. Or maybe, just maybe, there's more coming. Final twist? Some very recent activity on Instagram caught fans' eyes. Dakota Johnson's close friends unfollowed Chris Martin. Some removed all mentions of him. Meanwhile, Chris's team remains completely silent. No comment. No statement. Total blackout. That kind of silence in Hollywood? It usually means one thing: something big happened, and no one wants to be the first to speak. So now we're left with questions. Was it truly about their schedules, or was that just the easiest story to sell? Was there emotional neglect, subtle power imbalances, or the quiet exit of love that once burned bright? Or was there someone else in the shadows all along? We may never get all the answers. But one thing's for sure, Dakota Johnson and Chris Martin's breakup wasn't just about being too busy. That's the headline. But the truth? It's layered. Human. Painful. And still unraveling. If you made it this far, let me know in the comments what you think really happened. Do you believe it was work? Personal growth? Or someone else entirely? And don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because if either of them breaks their silence, you'll want to be the first to know. Until next time, stay curious.